All right, let's get this training started. How to lose 25 to 50 pounds of fat in 90 days without sacrificing muscle, metabolism, or family time. I'm going to try to keep this training in about 30 minutes. I found that's about as quickly as I can do it without skimping over very important information. And I want you guys to get as much out of this as you possibly can. So let's get right into it. This training's for you if you've tried eating perfectly every day just to lose about a pound a week. Traditional fat loss is a very slow process, but after you've watched this training, that's going to be a thing of the past. This training's for you if you don't want to count calories and macros for the rest of your life. If you're tired of going out to dinner with your wife and then whipping out your phone every time the waiter brings a new dish and scouring MyFitnessPal to try to find out how many calories are in it, this training's for you. This training's for you if you're part of the 95% of people who lose a little bit of weight by cutting calories just to regain it all back plus more within the next 5 years. This training's for you if you've tried restrictive diets only to end up binge eating later on. That was my story, which I'll get to a little bit later on in this training. And this training's for you if you want to be able to get as lean as you want without sacrificing your muscle, slowing down your metabolism, or taking precious time away from your family. Let's start by saying America does not have a weight loss problem. A lot of people say there's this obesity epidemic going on. Americans can't lose weight when that's not quite true. In fact, 49% of people over 20 years old in America diet successfully every year, meaning about 43 million Americans each year successfully lose weight. The problem is around 95% of those people regain the weight back, plus more within the next 5 years. Fitness professionals like to blame the people going back to their old habits, their environment, them lacking willpower, etc. But research is actually showing that people who successfully lose weight just get really hungrier than researchers ever anticipated prior to conducting the study. They found that for every 2 pounds somebody loses, they're hungry about an extra 100 calories each day. Meaning if you lose 20 pounds, you can expect to have an extra 1,000 calories worth of cravings every day. Sounds pretty miserable to me. So what's some of the standard advice fitness professionals say? Count your calories, right? It's all calories in versus calories out. You have to be in a calorie deficit. You got to eat less and move more. That's a common one. You want to eat a big breakfast because people who eat big breakfasts are typically in better shape, they live longer, etc. That's what they tell us. You want to eat 6 to 8 small meals a day so you can keep your metabolism revved up. And my personal favorite, you have to use your willpower. I don't know if you know this, but willpower is just like any other muscle in that by the end of the day, it's worn out, and right when you need it the most, when it's 8 o'clock and you're watching Netflix on the couch with your family and you're thinking about what's up in the cupboards, that's right when your willpower tank is on empty. So if that's your big plan, it's not going to work out for you. Better people have tried, I guarantee you. Albert Einstein defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So knowing that only 5% of people are successful within 5 years of starting a diet, does it make sense that we would keep preaching counting our calories, eating less and moving more, using our willpower, etc.? In this training, we're going to talk about some people who took a different route, used a different method, and had great success, like Angus Barbieri, who lost 276 pounds. Now, by normal dieting standards, this would take anywhere between 3 and 6 years of perfect consistency, assuming nothing else went wrong. Angus lost the weight, however, in only 1 year and 17 days. But even crazier than that is that Angus only ever regained 10 of those 276 pounds until the day he died. This gentleman lost 104 pounds in just over 4 months. Now, this would typically take 1.5 to 2 years by, again, doing everything perfectly, counting every single calorie, working out all the time, etc. This gentleman cut that time into a fraction and did it in only a little over 4 months. Doesn't even look like the same person. So you might be saying, great, Joel, if I ever gain 200 pounds, I'll give you a call. Why are you showing me all these obese people? I only have 25 to 50 pounds to lose, right? I hear you. But fitness professionals use this exact same method to get lean and ripped with ease while still enjoying the foods they love. On the left, you can see Brad Pilon, who wrote a book and was on my podcast talking about this exact same method. In the middle, you have Thomas DeLauer of Six Pack Shortcuts, who has almost 2 million subscribers on YouTube. And you have me on the right. Not that I belong with these meat titans, but just in case you say, oh, well, maybe Thomas DeLauer's on steroids, or maybe Brad Pilon just eats chicken salads all day. I can personally vouch that I use this method, never touched a steroid in my life, and you can typically catch me watching a football game, having a couple beers, enjoying some nachos. Yeah, granted, I try to eat 80-20 decently clean, but I'm far from perfect, and using this method has helped me stay lean and ripped ever since I started implementing it, and the rest has been a breeze. And this training is going to teach you exactly how to do that as well. So who am I? You might know by now, my name's Joel Staley. I'm a fitness coach. I train busy parents and business professionals all over the world. I'm a pro men's physique competitor, and I'm a family man. Here you can see my beautiful wife, Amy, and our precious newborn daughter, Kennedy, who's now almost 1 year old. In 2016, I competed in my second men's physique show ever. I paid $250 for a one-page meal plan. As you can imagine, was egg whites, whole eggs, oatmeal, tilapia, broccoli, chicken, protein shake, typical bro bodybuilder meal plan. I followed that one-page meal plan for 12 weeks every single day, and I got pretty lean. After the show, I developed a binge eating disorder, which apparently is very common in the fitness competitor circles. I was not aware of at the time. Within the next 2 weeks, I had regained the 18 pounds that I had lost in the 12 weeks prior, all because I could not stop eating. So one day I decided, hey, I got to track my calories because my stomach's getting bigger. I know I can't stop eating. I need to see about where I'm at. And I decided to track. And one day, even though I was eating healthy, clean foods, I was eating 5,700 calories, which, being that my maintenance calories were only 2,750, meaning anything over 2,750 and I'm gaining weight would make sense because I was eating over double my maintenance calories. When I found this out, I joked to my wife, wow, I could literally not eat anything tomorrow and I'd still be over my calories for both days. Meaning if I kept eating 5,700 calories a day, I could eat every other day and I would still gain weight. So even though I was joking about this, the next morning I decided to hop on YouTube, Google a couple articles, look into fasting, and found out that people actually did this. Let's just say I was skeptical, to say the least. I thought, I'm always hungry. Like, I cannot stop binge eating. There's no way I could go 16 hours, 72 hours. Some of these people were going 7 days without eating. What the research said was fasting actually blunts hunger and reduces your appetite and your cravings. This is true because it keeps your blood sugar and your insulin levels steady. It reduces ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. And it forces you into a state of ketosis, which is where you're burning body fat for fuel, which just naturally suppresses your appetite. I thought, all right, that sounds pretty good, but if I don't eat, I'll burn up all my muscle. This might work for those hippies that don't care about building a great physique, but I'm a competitor. I don't want to burn up all my muscle, and not eating. We've all heard those horror stories. But what the research actually said when I dove a little bit deeper is you retain more muscle fasting than by just cutting calories. This is true because when insulin is low, human growth hormone is elevated. And when HGH is elevated, it helps preserve more muscle. I thought, wow, that's pretty surprising. But if I don't eat, my metabolism will slow down and I'll go into starvation mode, right? This is why you can't eat only 500 calories a day, because you'll go into starvation mode. But what the research said was fasting actually keeps your metabolism higher compared to standard calorie cutting. You can see here in this chart is after 4 days of fasting that although the weight was steadily going down, resting energy expenditure was increasing, meaning metabolism was going up. This is true because you retain more muscle, like we just talked about. The increased amount of norepinephrine, which is an energy hormone, and you still get all the fuel your body needs from body fat, so it's not forced to slow down your metabolism. So then I thought, okay, this is too good to be true. It has to be some sort of fad diet, right? Where do I put in my credit card info? But in reality, fasting has been around since the beginning of mankind, I found out. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors did it out of necessity. It's been practiced by billions of people for fat loss, but mostly spiritual and religious reasons all around the world. And it's even so old, it's written about in the Bible. So that's when I thought, you had me, it retains more muscle. But really what got my attention was that it was going to curb my appetite because, again, I couldn't stop eating. See, what happens is when you eat, your insulin, which is your fat storage hormone, and your blood sugar both rise. When insulin rises, you can't burn fat. Insulin's like a switch. If it's elevated, you're storing fat. If it's down, you're burning fat. You can only store fat when you're eating. So when blood sugar starts to drop, usually within 2 or 3 hours after you're done eating, you get that rumble in your stomach and you feel hungry again. I put hungry in quotations because once you start fasting, you realize that these are just cravings and it's your blood sugar crashing. It's not real hunger. So let me ask you this. Do you eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then you're able to burn a little bit of fat in between and then burn a lot of fat while you're sleeping? Or does your eating consist of a little bit more like this, where you eat breakfast, you have a snack to hold you over to lunch, another snack till dinner, and then you have another snack while you're on the couch at night watching some Netflix with the family? Not ever giving your body any chance to burn any fat. So what was happening was I was basically waking up every day with low insulin and steady blood sugar, not hungry and steadily burning fat, and then eating right away out of habit because I was going to the gym and I didn't want to burn muscle when I went to the gym. So I'd eat and then my insulin would spike and then I was hungry every 2 or 3 hours until I went to sleep again that night, which makes for a very long day of eating. I was essentially like a crack addict that would get out of rehab because, again, in the morning I wasn't hungry, but I'd give myself just a little bit of crack and then try to have 6 small doses of crack each day just to get by. Again, not actual crack. I'm talking about my food addiction. So I decided to dip my toe with the 16-8 method, which was very popular at the time. And you can see before I was waking up at 5 a.m., having my first meal, and then I was hungry every 2 to 3 hours, making it almost impossible not to eat a ton of calories. You can see here, I was at 5,700 calories. When I didn't break the seal until noon and I made the cutoff at 8 p.m., I was able to severely cut back my calories. So I was able to control my cravings much better. I had more energy and focus in the morning. I was able to eat dinner with my wife because I had the extra calories, and I could relax my diet and enjoy going out and having a social life. But the problem was I still wasn't dropping fat as fast as I wanted to. I wanted to lose fat fast. You got to remember, I had just competed in a men's physique show. Everybody saw me on Facebook looking lean and ripped. And then over the last 2 weeks, I gained 18 pounds back, all of which that seemed to have gone right to my gut. And being that it was early June, I was going to be going to these pool parties or going to the lake, taking my shirt off, and people were expecting to see a six-pack, and all of a sudden I've gained almost 20 pounds straight on my belly. It was very embarrassing, and I was very ashamed. I didn't want to talk to anyone about it. Knowing that my maintenance calories were 2750, eating 2250 calories, which was the standard recommended 500 calorie deficit, would take me 3 weeks to lose 3 pounds of fat. Remember, I had 18 pounds of fat to lose. This is when I thought, this is some BS. Why can I gain 18 pounds in 2 weeks, but it's going to take me another 4.5 months to lose it? That's when I knew maybe we're just not doing something right. That's when I found out 16/8 fasting was just the tip of the iceberg. Fasting for 16 hours at a time will make fat loss way easier, but it's still going to be a long process. If you want to lose fat fast and get leaner than ever quickly, you'll have to do more than just the 16/8 method, because that's essentially entry-level fasting. And I found 16/8 is better for maintenance than it is per se for fat loss. But when you're able to fast for longer periods, you can lose those same 3 pounds of fat that it would take 3 weeks to lose in 4 24-hour fasts, 2 48-hour fasts, or 1 96-hour fast. In other words, you could lose the same amount of fat in 4 days as it would typically take you 3 weeks to do by normal dieting standards. I know this sounds crazy. This is about the time where you're saying, I could never not eat for 24, 48, or even 72 hours at a time. Once you make the transition from burning stored carbs, which is what we're used to burning body fat, your cravings completely go away. So not only are you losing fat 5 times faster, it doesn't suck because you're not constantly starving like when you're eating every 2 or 3 hours. You retain more muscle mass, your metabolism stays higher, and it's fun to see people's reactions. If you haven't seen someone in 2 months and you see them 2 months later and you've lost 30 pounds and they're like, wow, what are you doing? That's crazy. And then you eat a big meal because it's your refeed and they're like, wow, how are you eating all that? You're down 30 pounds. I just saw you. You got to tell me what you're doing. It's just fun to see their reactions. But this is more than just a calorie deficit. By eating less or in these tighter windows, you keep your insulin low for much longer periods of time so your body can focus on burning fat instead of storing it. Remember, if your insulin is elevated, you're storing fat. If your insulin is steady, you are burning fat. So simply by cramming your calories into a shorter window, you allow your body much more time during the day to focus on burning fat. This gentleman's a YouTube and Instagram celebrity, and I only put him in here because he eats these ridiculous 4,000 calorie giant meals, but he's able to get away with it and stay lean or get leaner because he only eats the 1 meal a day. So his insulin is elevated for about 2 to 3 hours out of the day, allowing 21 to 22 hours of straight fat burning the rest of the day so he can get away with this. Now, I'm not telling you to eat 1 meal a day, but it works for him. Don't get me wrong. You can lose fat on a standard calorie deficit diet. I've done it. I've helped tons of people do it. But in my experience, it's like cutting the lawn with a weed whacker compared to using a riding lawnmower. So this was me again for my 2016 competition. I did a 12-week prep, absolutely no cheat meals. It's funny because I wouldn't even have a kernel of popcorn that my wife was offering me because it wasn't on my meal plan. Absolutely no cheat meals, not a drip of alcohol. I was irritable and lethargic and miserable the entire time, just like you've probably been if you ever tried to diet. I ended up getting 5th place out of 11 guys, and worse yet, I gained all the weight back within 2 weeks of losing it. This is me in 2018. This was more of an 8-week prep because I wasn't sure if I wanted to compete this year, being that one of my best friends was having his bachelor party only 5 weeks before the show. So I decided I was going to go on the 3-day bachelor party. I didn't want to be the guy that was eating boiled chicken and broccoli. So I just thought, I'm going to live it up. I'm going to come back with 5 weeks left. I'm going to throw some of this fasting in, and we're going to see what happens. If I think I look good enough, I'll sign up for the show. I got back. I had multiple cheat meals during the bachelor party, tons of alcohol. I'm not bragging, but come on, guys. It was a bachelor party. You can imagine. And what I found out was when I got back, I was able to shed the fat super fast. I was energetic and focused. I ended up getting way leaner. I won first place and my pro card. And best yet, I kept the weight off permanently, all from dialing in my fasting. So why does prolonged fasting work so well? First, we have to understand what body fat is. And that's essentially just the food that we've eaten in the past that we've stored as energy for later just in case we need it. So what you have to realize is our bodies are going to burn food regardless. It's either going to burn the food that we're putting in our mouth right now, or if we allow it to, it's going to burn the food that we've already eaten and that's being stored for just that occasion as body fat. Here's a good example. Our bodies are a lot like these hoarders here, where it takes everything it can and it saves it just in case it ever needs it. So if you were going to give this couple a recommendation of clearing out their house, would you say, all right, take out 5 pounds of junk each day and only bring in 3 pounds of junk? Or would you say, quit bringing in junk and just focus on getting rid of the junk you already have? That's exactly what prolonged fasting does. You see, we were meant to feast and famine. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors were not eating 6 to 8 small meals a day. They would go hunt something, kill it, eat a big meal, and then that was followed by periods of fasting until they were able to hunt and kill again. There are so many health benefits to fasting that I literally do not even have the time or capacity to put all of them in this training. It's outside the scope, but send me a message if you're interested, and I'd love to get a little deeper on the subject and let you know all the health benefits, or better yet, do your own research. Don't take my word for it, but I'm telling you, this is just a small fraction of some of the benefits you'll get once you master the skill of fasting. Super low calories does not equal fasting. So don't get off this training and say, all right, Joel told me to starve myself. I'm going to have 6 tiny little salads a day, the size of a penny, and then that's just like fasting. If you do that, you will lose some muscle, you will slow down your metabolism, and you'll feel very hungry throughout the day. You have to fast, not starve yourself by eating these teeny tiny meals. Again, remember, it comes down to insulin. Your calories in will affect your calories out. This is why standard calorie cutting slows down your metabolism. You see, when you eat, you raise your insulin, so you can no longer burn body fat. All you can use for your metabolism is the calories you're putting in. So if you're normally eating 2,500 calories, you're good because you have 2,500 calories of metabolism to play with. However, when you want to lose some fat, you cut it to 1,600 calories. Being that your body can't access its body fat, since your insulin is raised, you now only have 1,600 calories of metabolism to play with, i.e. your metabolism slows down. So you lose fat for a little bit, your metabolism catches up, you plateau. The only thing you can do now is cut your calories again. But what happens? After a couple of days or a couple of weeks of burning fat, your metabolism catches up. Your metabolism slows down and you don't burn much fat when you're constantly eating and cutting your calories. But what happens when you don't eat anything because you're fasting? All of a sudden, your insulin is no longer raised. You can access your body fat. So if your body requires 2,500 calories worth of fuel, it can pull it right from body fat, and your metabolism has no need to slow down whatsoever. If you've never fasted before, you might be saying, I could never do this. I'd be starving. I'd only be able to think about food. I'd be weak and very low energy, and I'd be super hangry, right? But what happens actually is you find that you're super productive, you're focused on the task at hand because you have this increased focus and energy, you're full of energy, and best yet, you're burning body fat like crazy. Because fasting is a skill, and once you master that skill, you can lose fat as fast as you want. This is Jason White. Go follow him on Instagram. He's a big faster. Jason's in the Dads Who Lift Forum, and he lost 50 pounds in 12 weeks by using this method. This is Travis. Travis is also in the Dads Who Lift, and he lost 51 pounds in 3 months, and they both look awesome. So how do you get started? You don't want to just all of a sudden stop eating. Like, I watched Joel's video, that's it, I'm giving up eating. If you do it alone, I'm telling you, if you're anything like me, it'll take a lot of trial and error, tons of research, and quite a bit of failure before you're successful. This is just a handful of the questions I had when I was first starting. You really have two choices. You can go at it alone and waste time learning the trial and error method like I did, which ended up taking me a couple years to perfect. You can figure out how to structure your diet, your workouts, your fasting protocol, etc. Because I really can't stress enough, if your workouts don't make sense with your fasting, or if your diet doesn't complement your fasting, it's very possible that you can actually lose muscle and just become a skinny fat version of yourself instead of using this powerful method to just shred straight body fat. And you'll have to hold yourself accountable for seeing this through with no other accountability, which can be tough when you're not eating for days on end, right? You can imagine how that would go. Or you can take the accelerated, foolproof path, like Jeremy did. Jeremy lost a ton of fat, and even though he's not smiling in his after picture, I can vouch, Jeremy never smiles, but he's very happy, much happier here than he was here. This is Tom. Tom did a 12-week program. He still had the occasional beer, burgers. He still enjoyed life, yet you can see dramatic changes, and he's looking super shredded. And Tyler Gaeta, co-admin of the Dads Who Lift group, has been fasting with me for a couple months now, and as you can see, insane results. Doesn't even look like the same guy. Guys, I want to invite you to check out my Shed Fat Fast program. If this sounds like something you'd be into, I want to offer you 12 weeks worth of body sculpting workouts that complement the fasting. So again, you're losing straight body fat while still building or at least retaining all of your muscle. 12 weeks worth of meal plans and nutritional coaching to complement the fasting. One-on-one coaching with me, including bi-weekly coaching calls, helping you with any obstacles or hurdles that come up. Fasting guidance to ensure that you meet your goal no matter how aggressive we have to get. And access to our group accountability Facebook forum, which is huge because when you're starting a 24, 48, or 72-hour fast, that's not something you want to go into alone. You want to have a team of support. Just like anything you do, you want to have a good structure to make sure that you're set up for success. But most importantly, you will lose 25 to 50 pounds of fat by following my methods. I can guarantee you that in 12 weeks. 25 is taking it pretty safe and steady. 50 pounds is more realistic of what you're going to lose within the 12 weeks. If you have 50 pounds to lose. If you only have 40 pounds to lose, we can still get rid of those 40 pounds. Here's what people are saying about the Shed Fat Fast program. Here's Kirk. He's been doing this program for 3 weeks, and he's already able to fit into his Cubs jersey that he hasn't been able to wear in 1.5 years. As you can see, he's talking about how he's down 18 pounds in only 17 days. Alex is down to 170 for the first time in 3 years, and he says he is never, ever going to go back to the old school days of calorie counting and eating 5 to 6 meals a day. I don't blame Alex at all. Bob is down over 27 pounds in 6 weeks. Brianne is down 9 pounds in 10 days. And Tim is down an incredible 19 pounds of fat in only 7 days. DJ is down 35 pounds in his first 6 weeks of this program. So think about that. I'm promising I can help you lose 25 to 50 pounds. There's no way DJ's not going to at least lose 60 to 70 pounds on this program. Here's the catch. I'm not working with just anybody. I only want to work with you if you've tried to get lean and shredded by eating clean and counting calories and have been unsuccessful time and time again. I only want to work with you if you find it hard to stick to a diet or a workout routine long term, whether that be due to the lack of accountability or it's just too slow of a process. You know, you got to be perfect for a week to lose 1 pound on the scale. Yeah, I want to work with you. I want to show you how we do it in the pros. And I want to work with you if you want fast, life-changing results. I'm not talking about losing 5 pounds. I'm not talking about losing 10 pounds. 25 to 50 pounds of fat lost guaranteed in 12 weeks with the most aggressive and effective fat loss plan available on the market. Most aggressive and effective does not mean it's hard to do, guys. This is a work smarter, not harder method. If that sounds like you, I want to work with you. But first, before I can commit 100% to saying, hey, you'd be a good fit, schedule a free 30-minute discovery call below. Let's hop on the phone. Let me ask you about what you've tried, what didn't work, and let's see if you'd be a good fit to take me up on the Shed Fat Fast program so you can be another one of my testimonials and satisfied client, because I'm telling you, if you get half the results that my clients I'm working with right now are getting, your only problem is going to be that you didn't get started 12 weeks ago. So if that sounds like something you're into, schedule your free 30-minute discovery call below, and I'll talk to you very soon.